We all think we know Disney, right? You think of the movies, the theme parks, Mickey Mouse. But what if I told you that what you know, it's just the tip of the iceberg? Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and show you the true, staggering scale of the empire they've built. And trust me, it's way bigger than you can possibly imagine. So, to really wrap our heads around their power, let's play a little game. I want you to think back to 2018. It was a massive year for movies. Who do you think came out on top? Who absolutely ruled the domestic box office?
All right, coming in at number 1, no big surprise here, the cultural phenomenon that was Black Panther. Just a massive, record-shattering hit.
Then, right on its heels at number 2, you had the epic blockbuster Avengers Infinity War. Fun fact, this one was actually number 1 worldwide, but it just missed that top spot here in the States.
And to round out the top 3, we've got the animated hit everyone waited years for, Incredibles 2. I mean, what a lineup. 3 absolutely dominant films.
And here it is. Here's the punchline. The company behind all 3 of those movies was Disney. They didn't just win the year, they completely swept the podium. They took home the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Now, that level of dominance, that doesn't just happen by accident. It's the result of a very, very specific strategy. So how does a company get that powerful? Well, it's not magic. It comes from a very deliberate, decades-long strategy. The story of the Disney we know today is really a story of acquisition, of methodically buying up all the right pieces to build an absolute entertainment juggernaut. And this timeline, this shows you the blueprint. You can literally watch the empire take shape. It really kicked into high gear in '95 when they bought Capital City/ABC for a wild $19 billion. That got them the ABC network and maybe even more importantly, ESPN. But then they pivoted. They started buying the stories themselves. They grabbed Pixar in 2006, Marvel in 2009, and Lucasfilm in 2012. Each one of those deals added a whole universe of beloved characters to their vault. And let's focus on these 3 for a second, because they really were the bedrock of their whole modern strategy. The Pixar deal was incredible. It actually made Steve Jobs Disney's single largest shareholder. Then, a few years later, when they bought Lucasfilm, George Lucas became the 2nd largest. Think about that. They weren't just buying companies. They were absorbing the entire creative legacies of 2 of the most influential visionaries of our time. But here's the crazy part. All of those deals, as massive as they were just the appetizer. Now, it's time for the main course, the one mega deal that completely dwarfed everything that came before it and just fundamentally rewrote the rules of the entire media landscape. Okay. Just look at this. This chart says it all. On the left, you've got the combined cost of buying Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. That's about $15.4 billion, a huge amount of money. But then look at the bar on the right. That's the $71.3 billion price tag for 21st Century Fox. It's not even in the same ballpark. This wasn't just another purchase. This was an extinction-level event for one of their biggest competitors. So what in the world do you get for over $71 billion? Well, you get a legendary film studio, 20th Century Fox. You get the keys to monster franchises like Avatar. And maybe most importantly for the fans, you finally bring Marvel characters like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back home. But wait, there's more. You also get amazing TV networks like FX and a controlling 60% stake in the streaming service Hulu. Just an incredible haul. Okay, so you're probably thinking, wow, that's everything. But believe it or not, even after all of that, we have still only been scratching the surface. Now that the dust from that giant Fox deal has settled, let's take a deep breath and look at the whole thing, the complete, consolidated Disney empire as it stands today. So first up, let's look at the actual factories that make the movies and shows. You've got the classic Walt Disney Pictures, the animation wizards at Pixar, the superhero machine that is Marvel Studios, and the galaxy far, far away builders at Lucasfilm. And now, you have to add the historic 20th Century Studios and the indie darlings Searchlight Pictures to that list. That is a truly mind-boggling amount of storytelling firepower all under one roof. But, making all that great content is only half the battle. You also have to deliver it to people. And guess what? They own all the pipes too. We're talking about the entire ABC broadcast network, the ESPN sports empire, a whole bunch of cable channels from FX to Nat Geo, and, of course, their streaming triple threat, Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+. They literally control the whole process, from creation all the way to your screen. Then, you gotta look at their massive footprint in the real world. We're talking about the iconic theme parks, the cruise line, all the merchandise.
And get this, here's a little detail that might blow your mind. This one division, Parks and Experiences, brings in over $20 billion a year. That's nearly double the revenue of their entire movie studio business. It's huge.
And finally, you have all the other pieces that complete the ecosystem. Music labels, book publishing, Marvel Comics, video games. I mean, think about it. The comic book your kid is reading, the song stuck in your head from that new movie, the show you're going to binge watch tonight, there is a very good chance Disney had a hand in almost all of it.
So when you see it all laid out like that, it's a lot. And it leads us pretty naturally to a giant, looming question. It's a question people in Hollywood and even in government are starting to ask. Has Disney just become too big? Has one company gotten too powerful?
So what does this kind of power actually look like in the real world? It looks like this number, 36%. After the Fox deal went through, analysts projected that Disney would control over a third of the entire domestic box office. Let that sink in. More than one out of every $3 you spend on a movie ticket in America goes directly into their pockets.
And this quote, this just nails the central conflict perfectly. On one hand, yeah, it's kind of scary. It's a little unnerving to think about one company controlling so much of the culture we consume. But then, on the other hand, for a fan, the possibilities are pretty exciting, right? I mean, the reason we might finally see the X-Men fight the Avengers is because of this very deal. Which, of course, brings us to the ultimate question we have to ask ourselves. As this one entertainment giant just keeps getting bigger and bigger, what's the real cost? Are we getting better, more epic stories out of it? Or are we just getting fewer storytellers? The answer to that question is really going to define the future of entertainment for all of us. And it's definitely something worth thinking about.